Hello, hello, my green skins, and how are you all today? We are good. Last day of Alien Month, and what are we picking up there, Dark?
The Last Starfighter.
And what did you think of the Last Starfighter?
The last train wreck.
Tell me how you really feel about the movie. Holy shit!
Well, it is a wasted potential. To me, it is a Star Wars slash Star Trek wannabe, and
Oh,
it's just and very predictable. Very, it drags on. I have very little positive things to say about the movie, and
let's break her down. As for me, this is a guilty pleasure. I'm getting a Starfighter tattoo eventually. When I finally get enough money and I want to get one on my back.
you mean the logo in the
Insignia.
movie?
Yep. Oh
Kind of
yeah, definitely.
kind of looks like the Atari symbol, the Atari logo.
A little bit. This is an interesting movie, especially from the wasted potential. And I really do think it's going to be something we're going to have fun with. First off, let's start with the music. What did you think of the music?
You know how movies like Solo and Rogue One, their soundtracks, their intro themes are wannabe Star
Boring.
Wars?
Boring.
Well, yeah, well, that's how I feel about this movie. Across the board, there's a lot. I feel like it's all wannabe Star Wars. And considering this was made in 1984, was it? Kind of makes sense that,
Yeah,
yeah.
86, I think. But
Well, Star Wars, everything wanted to be Star Wars at the time. So this is like a monument. This is like a monument to that desire.
I disagree a little bit. This is actually, to me, the music is okay. It's actually nice. It's not a Star Wars ripoff when it comes to that, but the music is okay. It's interesting.
But this
I
orchestral
got
style is
Yeah, but that you could
it's
say that
taking
about the you could say it about a lot of music nowadays. Like it's not like as bad as it is now, where we have that Hans Zimmer boom.
oh, I hate that.
So yeah, this had a very Spielberg feel actually with the music. I would say it had that very like Spielberg likes this sound. He likes the like the little sound. Like it kind of like it's very like open and free spirit type attitude.
He
He
likes
always
his
had
music
that
to be very happy
fluttery.
and you
Yeah,
know
fluttery. That's the best way to put it. And this movie has that fluttery-ish to it.
controversial opinion, but I think Spielberg is an overrated director.
To some stuff, yes, I will agree. I would actually say the best, one of the best directors I remember would be Scorsese's, and the guy who created Godfather is pretty good, but neither here nor there. Next, let's talk about the special effects. What did you think of the visual effects? Now, the CG, we'll cut the CG, we'll separate the CG from the actual practical effects. First, the practical effects. What did you think?
Um, I've seen better, but I've also seen worse. So this is it's definitely not the worst I've seen in terms of practical effects.
80s movies always had good practical effects. Like let's be honest, the 80s movies always had better practical effects than most other movies nowadays. Like the practical effects in most movies, if they're not a freaking horror movie, it seems like practical effects are pretty much out the freaking window. Like they're just not as good. And that sucks personally. Like that bugs me that the practical effects just don't work. It seems like there's very few. There's only like one or two I can think of recently that just made me go, yeah, I like those practical effects. A good one was Willy's Wonderland, which is a good Nicolas Cage movie. Now, what did you think of the CG? Now, this is where we're gonna get fun.
Oh, it is absolutely dated. It's it's this is a marvel to look at just how dated it is. It
And how sad is it that back in the day that was visual feast. Like yeah, I look at the effects now. I look at those effects now, and I'm like, you can get that on the PS2. Back then, that was a visual feast.
but it's like I don't know. I mean, I feel like it could have been better if they didn't use so much of it, because I guess I have to be honest. This movie tries to use a lot of CG,
Well,
and
here's
most
the
movies
thing
for
with
that
that.
time used them sparingly. This one tried to
Let's
use like a good quarter of the movie in its 1 hour and 40 minute run. Actually, a quarter of it? No, like half of it is
no. It's
has
about
CG.
no. It's not even that. It's about I would say the visual effects. If you really want to count it, they're only time. Like I'm watching it now. Actually, I've watched it just recently, and I think we've both watched it. It's about maybe 30 minutes out of the 140. So that is a good portion. That is a good portion, but it's not the entire movie. I would say about 40% is the CG.
I mean, most movies like would use much less CG in comparison, but
Yeah.
I think in using as much as it did,
Mhm.
and not just in terms of time, but there'd be a lot of CG things animated on the screen. So that's
Yeah.
I think that the budgets kind of like went down, and it kind of made the whole thing suffer. Oh,
Well, this is. Oh, go ahead.
it looked like a cartoon at times, like a CG animated cartoon, and
It
it's
did. It did have a reboot feel to it, didn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Like
think it should have been used sparingly.
it's okay. I actually would say out of everything that I've seen, it's really good for what it was. I wouldn't poo poo it. It's not awful. It's not, oh my God, this is the worst thing I ever saw. But back in the day, this was a visual feast. I was around for this one. I saw this in theaters. I was 6 at the time or 5.
Well,
So this was a visual feast. For a kid seeing that for the first time, I was like, wow.
I mean,
So,
like I said,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little biased to this movie, but
it
that's
was it was overused, and but at the same time, now tell me, I suspected as I was watching, was this film released in 3D?
no,
Then that raises further questions because I thought maybe if it was in 3, that would actually it would actually make sense as to why it looks the way it does. Because you remember Jaws 3D, how that looks without when
no.
it's not in 3D.
It was
It reminded me of that at times.
it was the first time I can ever remember CG really being used heavily. This and Tron, but Tron makes a little bit more sense because they're what's it called? This this movie's very interesting in a lot of ways. Like there's an interesting backstory to this. This actually back in the day had like comic books. There was Last Starfighter lunch boxes. There is a lot to this movie. This I think this movie was meant to be the start of something big. They were planning something big, and it
Yeah,
really just took a shit.
that's why I say it's a Star Wars, Star Trek wannabe. It wanted to be a franchise. Clearly,
It really
that's what
did.
it was going for.
I even vaguely remember hearing about toys. I don't think I had any toys, but I vaguely remember hearing there were toys. It's funny because it is actually a decent bit of movie. Now let's get down to the acting. What did you think of the acting in this movie?
Um, the main character, oh, what was his name? I forget his name.
I think he's in Airplane, wasn't he? Wasn't he the guy from Airplane as well?
And the old guy.
No, not the old guy, the main character.
Well,
Wasn't that what's his face? I can't remember the game. The pilot, the one that had the drinking problem.
I forget. I think. that's another one of the few things I will praise. Despite how silly, predictable, and just all around not good this movie is, at least the actors did their best to try to put out a good product. They didn't half-ass it. I mean, you'd think if the script was as bad as the end product, which I'm pretty sure the script might have actually made it look better than how it turned out. The actors did their best with it.
Oh yeah, the actors threw themselves into this, and that's what made this movie really good. The acting in this is amazing.
Well,
It's really well done.
I'm not gonna say it's
No, no,
amazing. It's just
I
not
would
bad.
say
They didn't go
I would
hokey. They could have, but they
no,
didn't.
no. I think this is one of the better movies for that. I actually would say this is probably the best acting for a movie like this. Because Star Wars had moments where I felt but this one, yeah, this one was good. I like this acting. It made sense, like a lot of this is, and it is actually very beautiful. If you think about I actually, it's really interesting. How can you fucking make a trailer park look good? You put it off the side of a mountain, like a beautiful view, like that just like that. I love that. Like I know that would have been awful. Like one good rock slide, and you're dead. But that's so beautiful because you got that sloping mountain range, and it just looked really good. Like it's kind of a cool movie. I really did. There's a lot to this I actually kind of like, but again, it was the acting that added to it. Now let's break down the story.
Predictable.
Cheesy. That's basically our conversation on that one. The story is very cheesy. It's a hero story, but it's done in a very cheesy way. You got a guy who literally
He plays
gets
a
to
he plays a
a
video
video.
game or a simulation, and that makes him worthy of being a pilot.
The biggest question I got to ask about that is how many people actually played this game, got the high score, got sent to that place, and ended up dying in the space battles before the last Starfighter.
I feel
That's the
like
biggest question.
I feel like when we got to that moment, like I was thinking, is this like a prototype isekai?
There were a lot of isekais back in the day. Fucking way more than people actually would care to admit. Like isekai was out there. Not trying to like say that it's one of those things, but it was one of those like isekai has always been out there. A lot of people seem to think, oh no, it wasn't. No, 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 it was. Like there's a lot of traveling to another world, finding yourself. Another one that gets a lot of credit is the Never Ending Story.
Huh.
Was technically an isekai. Actually, it's actually a good it's an anime isekai if you read the book. Uh, it's very like there's a lot of isekais out there. This isn't new. It's just that Japan took it to the extreme, like the
Eventually.
American did.
But yeah, so this was obviously from the pictures I've seen. This was meant to be a franchise. There was some Marvel comics. There was there's
Toys. There was, I
merch.
think, there's even a McDonald's. Yeah, wasn't there McDonald's merch for it too? There's a lot of merch for this. The story is like that's how bad it is. We skipped the story to move right to the freaking what's it called? The merch. There's a lot of merch that apparently came out for this. This was supposed to be a franchise, from what I've heard. It
I
just
mean,
never got there.
the writing is just so weird. I mean, in the early parts of the film where he's playing the game, Starfighter, and getting the high score, and everyone's gathering around him to witness him break the record,
Oh,
get
that's
all the
fucking
points.
real.
No, no, I'm
Oh,
thinking,
that's fucking real.
wait, this is the '80s. I don't imagine any old person like, and I mean like
Oh, that's
retirement
fucking
age
real.
would
No,
care about that.
that's fucking real. You weren't there for that, man. Take it from an old dog. I was there for that shit. When you fucking get a high score in something, you get people's attention.
Yeah, but I don't.
Uh,
I don't think you'll get old people's attention. I mean, I
oh
grew up in
yeah,
the
old
'90s.
people went and looked.
Not
Old people went and looked.
in the
Remember, video
'90s,
games
old
were
people
a new
didn't care
thing.
about anything.
Well, no, video games, no. Video games back in the day, like when you saw an arcade slot, I saw elderly people walk into those places back in the day. We used to go to an arcade thing. I remember a kid was getting really high in Centipede. He was just blowing it out in Centipede, and I remember like a bunch of people looking, and some elderly people walked in to have a look and see what was going on. It happened. It did happen. Like I played. I'm a little fucking game wizard when it comes to Dig Dug. I've gotten really far in Dig Dug. Like like just pretty much I'll die right around the time I get a level of life. And so I'd keep going. And I went on and just on $1, that's 4 quarters, that's 4 continues. I went on forever on Dig Dug. And I had people surrounding me when I was a kid. You do get people's attention, especially if you're really good at it. Like I hate to say it, if any male Twitter Let's Player does a game and he does a game really well, people pay attention to that. Like hell, we have esports. So no, I take that seriously. I think back in the '80s, no,
Esports,
no, that was
esports is not real sports. Oh yeah, I went
yes,
there.
it is.
No, it's not.
Oh no, you
Oh
no
yeah,
blasphemy.
no.
Real sports aren't real sports anymore if you think about it.
That is blasphemy. But again,
Oh, that is real. That
you
is
never
real.
watch
When I
sports
know
anyway.
when people get more views for FIFA, the video game, than the actual soccer, that's real, man. That's real.
Really, what was the what was the highest viewership count for a FIFA game?
I can't,
For
they had the women's soccer did that, and the women's soccer did not beat the actual FIFA video game tournament.
I'm sorry to say this, and I know this
No,
is gonna piss off certain
let-
people, but
no, watch
not
it.
e- not
That
even not even women watch women's soccer or football. They
no,
don't.
hey,
They really
they
don't.
still won't. They still kick their butts, man. No, you gotta take this. You gotta take this for something. An Overwatch tournament was beating out other sports. It's I'm sorry when ESPN is doing Overwatch, we gotta be honest. Like we're gonna talk about this maybe on your channel one of these days, there, Dark. If you ever want to do that, we'll do that on your channel. But yeah, no, that does exist. That realism does exist. Kids and everyone going and looking, watching someone play a video game, especially if people have been going to, like that's been there for a while. Like actually, what the unrealistic thing is having an arcade machine out in the fucking out in the natural environment. That is phenomenal. That is like super rare. Back in the day, you never see that shit. Like it was rare to see it in the natural environment like that. And they usually had the little arcade things. You would occasionally see those, but they were so rare. I remember back when we like they used to put them in a old horse where I live. They still have this place where you could play arcade games, and it's a little place, and they actually have it in an old horse it used to be a carnival. It's not a carnival anymore. It's more just a nothing place. It's kind of a nothing burger. It used to have a zoo. It's long depressing story, but they still have the arcade machines, and they're still in an old horse freaking a place where they kept the horses. They actually in the stables. They actually put arcade games in the stables, and that's the closest thing I've ever seen to being in the environment. That's the more unrealistic thing. I don't know if that happened in other places, but I never saw that. Like that's like putting like that's like the weird vending machines that exist out in the middle of nowhere in Japan. By the way, those are real too. Those are creepily real as well. Nothing like walking in the middle of nowhere at 4 in the morning and walk by a freaking a machine. But no, let's get back on topic here. The merch for this was weird. This was supposed to be something. But isn't it sad it just never did? Like the best we got were a couple video games and that's it,
Well, I've never
right?
played the game, so I don't. Were they good games?
No.
I
No,
can't
they were
imagine
not.
so.
You
No,
know, that's the funny thing. You got if they would have done this, like if Disney would have took this, picked this up, as much as I poo poo on the on the mouse, on the mouse, that mouse. Imagine if they had given you that chair. Imagine if we had that chair and you're spinning around and you're firing stuff. I don't know if they actually had a moving chair in the actual like somewhere else, but couldn't that have been badass? Like that would have been awesome. Like I know we had the later on. I think we had the afterburner chair. I think was after this, wasn't it? If I remember correctly, vaguely. So I might be wrong, but this could have been cool. It's such a wasted movie, isn't it?
it is.
If you think like this could have been something,
Another
and it
problem with
just
this
never.
movie is that it drags on for too long. I mean, I think it should have been like if 20 minutes of the film was cut out, it would have been more. Well, it wouldn't be better, but well,
Yeah,
actually,
but
it would be better.
you wouldn't have had the hero. You wouldn't have had the hero turn. You had to have the hero turn. The hero had to like go against his destiny and then come back. So that's why there's that extra 20 minutes. I know it's a little much, but it is you had to have it. So like to break this one down, what are you going to rate this one? And I'm assuming it's going to be bad.
This is definitely a three tops.
Oh my god, Jesus hell, jeez man, I would say about a 5.9. This is above average. It's not great, and I will admit that a little bit. I'm going to give it a 6 on the nostalgia boner because this is nostalgic to me. Like when people say, "What did you watch when you? What were your first sci-fi?" It'd be this and Dune were my first sci-fis, and my first sci-fi series was Red Dwarf and Doctor Who. So I never watched Star Trek. I watched Red Dwarf first. So to me, this movie has a little piece of heart. So I'm going to give it a 6 for the nostalgia points, but a 5.9. It's above average. It's not perfect. It really isn't perfect. And understanding giving it a 3. I guess I can understand. You weren't there for this one. This one's it's sad that this one really isn't there. Like I get why you're not a big fan of this one.
I mean, is it
Uh,
wrong that I was more impressed by the special effects in Michael Jackson's Moonwalker than this movie? Believe it or not.
wow. Hey, you know what? We all have our cup of tea. It's okay. It's okay not to like something if you have your reasons, man. Everyone has their reasons. Yeah. So that's our review of the Last Starfighter.
Yeah,
Overall, what did you think? What was your overall like to Alien Month? What'd you think?
I enjoyed the thing the most. But
The thing the most,
unfortunately
eh?
for me, I had to bail on my side of the stream because stuff was going on in my real life
Yeah.
just got in my way.
Hey, real life, right? Like we're not making real money off this, so it's not like this is a top priority.
Yeah, I made no promises.
Yeah, we make no promises right now until one day is such. It's us just having fun and us and friends showing friends movies. That's pretty much what this is.
Yeah.
And I hope to keep doing this. And I'd like to thank Dark for the for how for watching the movies, especially TerraVision,
Oh God, my brain.
especially TerraVision, and it's given me an opportunity to watch old movies I haven't seen in a very long time. It does. Overall, what did you think of like if you're gonna rate Alien Month? What's your thoughts?
It was had
Let's
its
give it
ups and
overall rating.
downs. I
It's
can't
up
give it
and
a
down.
rating, but because I really enjoyed, like I said, I really enjoyed the thing. Really
And
did
yeah,
enjoy it.
They Live is also very good.
Yeah, I love They Live. I mean, but the thing, yeah, I liked it so much that I actually want to watch the original, the 1958 was it? The black and
Yeah,
white one.
yeah. We're thinking of doing. Did you want to do a Twitch live reaction to that one?
Possibly. I'm not making promises.
Yeah, we don't make promises when it comes to this. Like I said, we're not making any real money, so it's like,
Exactly. So if you want us to do stuff, give us money.
give us, give us the subs.
Give us your money.
I don't have a Patreon yet. Wait, I'm waiting to get at least 50. We get 50, then I'll do the Patreon. That's the rule. Because then we got 50 people. Give us your money or your subs. So like, sub, subscribe. Next month is going to be a crapshoot. We're probably just going to do bits movies here and there. We might still do the orphan thing. We'll see. We'll see how everything goes. It's again, it's no never any promises, but we'll try to get a move. We'll try to get a review out at least once a week, so you guys have some at least some cool content to watch. And like I said, if you want to see these movies, I know it sucks that we're fucking just we're not showing bits and pieces of the movies, but YouTube has been a little angry when it comes to a lot of stuff, and I don't want to be copyright claim to hell. So we're just going to be doing the podcast for now. So if time goes on and we get to a certain point, they don't the copyright kings don't come after you because they realize, oh, this is free promotion. Until then, we're kind of gonna be doing these podcasts. So I hope everyone enjoys. Thank you very much again, and we'll see you guys later.
See ya.